Whoa, dude, you look like you've got hit by a literal truck. You alright?
Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but you know.
Yeah, maybe go back and get some rest. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'll just power through it. We're all good.
Sir, we're fighting the good fight, but we're just losing too many good people out there. Everything is getting wiped out. When can we bring in the secret weapons?
I know, Lieutenant. Only he'd sleep. Then we'd have all the skilled reinforcements that we need. Why won't he sleep? Damn it. We're sending him all the signals. You know what? Maybe I will go get some rest.
Oh, look, he's going. He's going to bed.
Oh. He's walking.
Oh.
Yes. Go. All right, let's get some.
Why won't he sleep? Why won't he sleep?
Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic manner. All right, this one today is going to be a doozy, mainly because we are covering 3 of my favorite things. These are some of my favorite things. Got a voice of an angel. Fasting, sleep, and the immune system. A healthy, happy immune system, that is. Not a chronically upset one. And how the interplay, weird gesture for interplay, I guess, how the interplay between these 3 can be optimized to improve our day-to-day cellular and metabolic function. Whoa. Keeping us healthy, strong, and sharp from the inside out. So we'll talk about how both fasting and sleep impact our immune system, how the 3 fit together, as well as some tips and strategies to make a meaningful health and longevity impact on your current situation. And we'll wrap it all up by walking through my current personal strategy that I've been tweaking and optimizing through the years. Cool? Cool. Oh, and if you haven't already checked it out, this video on how not to get sick may be a nice follow-up, as it covers a lot of the other components that we won't be touching on in this video that are key to continuously stay healthy on the inside. Because, well, there happen to be a lot of things happening, in there. First, sleep and the immune system. When we're sick, fighting a pathogen, fighting a bug, fighting whatever, there's typically a common theme. We tend to get tired, begin to run a temperature, and in many cases feel like we've got hit by a literal truck. Whoa, that was close. This, my friends, is for a reason. It means our body is fighting, and that takes energy. So to rally the internal troops and focus resources on defending the internal siege, our body, in most cases, puts us in a biochemical and physiological state that fancies staying in bed. But that right there is when we've already been compromised. That's essentially incident response at that point. And we know from all the other topics that we've covered on this channel, the best offense is a good sleep fence. No, I'm a defense. It was a joke. Why? Why is this the case? Believe it or not, sleep happens to have a pretty important role in day-to-day immune system health. At a macro level, it is associated with reduced infection risk, has been shown to improve infection outcome, and even vaccination responses. No wonder they call it the foundation of all things health. Or I call it that. One or the other. We're gonna keep it. It provides that critical time when the adaptive immune system, or the part of our immune system that remembers pathogens, improves and strengthens its memories of the bad guys. It's where we rebalance our cellular inflammatory signaling with immune system mediators such as cytokines. All this is key and foundational to immune system health, but it assumes we're getting one thing: good quality, consistent, adequate sleep. This guy is funny. He's got jokes. I kid. I kid. Sorta. Listen, sleep can be easy, or it can be extremely hard. And many times it dwindles down to how seriously we take it, how much we value it to prioritize it. And for many people, it doesn't even make the top 10 list of things they want to prioritize within a day. Hopefully after this, it'll be number 1 or 2. Number 1. So what happens when we get less than optimal sleep? The research suggests that a lack of sleep can have a pretty serious effect on our immune system health. One study showing that a single night of poor sleep can impair natural killer cell activity up to 70%. And natural killer cells are a critical component to our body's immune response, serving as the first line against things such as cancer cells, harmful bacteria, and other potential threats. Other research shows that sleep bolsters the effectiveness of another type of immune cell, T cells, whose jobs are to recognize virally infected cells and activate something called integrins, which is a sticky type of protein which allows them to attach to the infected cell and kill it. Good, consistent quality sleep improves their function. And as we all know, as we've talked about in many other sleep videos in the How to Sleep playlist, consistently poor sleep can and will put us at an elevated risk for acute illnesses, like colds and the flu. But in the long term, it increases our risk for much more serious threats, like cancer. Over time, it can lead to low-grade systemic inflammation, accelerating diseases that have inflammatory components, which are most of them. All of this right here is why sleep guru Dr. Matthew Walker calls sleep one of the best health insurance policies that anyone could ever ask for. And an insurance policy is always good in this world of uncertainty. Hey, speaking of insurance, have you heard of that new umbrella fasting policy? Yeah, I don't know anything about insurance. But the umbrella fasting policy, fasting and immune health. Structured fasting is good. Strategic fasting is good. However, sporadic, unstructured, ad hoc, loosey-goosey fasting can be dangerous, or at the very least, an unnecessary risk. We have upwards of 50 videos on the benefits of intermittent, prolonged, and time-restricted feeding protocols, all on the Fasting 101 playlist. It'll be linked below. You could find it right on the channel. You can have weekends and weekends of deep dives with this stuff. If you're looking for a place to get started, check out this video here. It'll be linked below as well. This will set you up for a safe and sustainable on-ramp to time-restricted feeding, intermittent fasting, and so on. And we talk about it so much because it is proving to be one of the best longevity tools that we have in the toolbox. The research continues to trickle out in both human and animal models, showing its efficacy in improving things such as blood pressure, resting heart rate, triglycerides, HDL and LDL cholesterol, glucose levels, and insulin sensitivity. In addition, intermittent fasting has been associated with reduced markers of systemic inflammation and oxidative stress. Now, fasting and the immune system have an interesting relationship, one that is very context dependent. You remember our friend Context, right? About this high, this wide, walks around, is always like, well, I don't know. He's the one that reminds us that the outcome of the intervention is highly dependent on the different variables at play. Yeah, you remember him. Good guy. When it comes to fasting, strengthening, or weakening of the immune system, length, timing, pre-existing conditions, and environment all have a say. A study published in the journal Stem Cell reported that longer prolonged fasts have a strengthening effect on the immune system. But the actual strengthening happens upon refeed, when the fast is over. The study displayed that a 3-day fast can reduce the number of white blood cells by up to 28%. However, after refeeding, all of the levels are restored, essentially by new fresh white blood cells. Imagine the scenario where you're 72 hours into a fast and you've gotten very, very little sleep for other reasons. Not great for short-term immunity. And we actually covered this research in another video that is focused around stem cell regeneration and reactivation and reawakening in this video here. So if you want to check that out, we talk about how to essentially rebuild yourself from the inside out. Pretty cool video. Check it out. It'll be linked below as well. Then there is autophagy, which is our in-house cellular recycling program. It's when we clean up those weak, damaged, leaky cells by, well, kind of eating ourselves. It plays a big role in overarching cellular health and, interestingly, both innate and adaptive immune system reactions, responses, and signaling. For example, during adaptive immunity, autophagy plays an important role in antigen presentation, which attracts immune cells. Lymphocyte or immune cell development, thymic selection, which is essentially T cell learning, inflammatory signaling, and cytokine regulation. All key functions of the immune system. Here's the thing. It has been shown that autophagy inhibition, meaning the stoppage of autophagy, positively influences viral replication, which ain't good. It means that many viruses have autophagy blocking mechanisms so that they don't get destroyed and they can continue to replicate. Not cool, I know. But good news, we have access to one of the best autophagy stimulators on the market. Fasting, both intermittent and prolonged, and even more advanced forms of time-restricted feeding, which we'll talk about when we go over my strategy. Now, it typically takes over 24 hours to start activating autophagy. The sweet spot is thought to be somewhere around 36 hours. So knowing what we talked about above, about the potential short-term weakening of the immune system during a fast, this autophagy strategy should be looked at as a prevention protocol, not an in-the-moment fighting strategy. Other interesting research that looked into intermittent fasting's impact on chronic inflammation, or a low-dose heightened state of our immune system, indicates that it attenuates the inflammatory status in our body by suppressing pro-inflammatory cytokine expression, decreasing body fat, and circulating levels of leukocytes. This study in particular looked at people who were fasting during the religious month of Ramadan, showing a 16 to 20-hour daily fast may have an offsetting effect of psychological, physiological, and environmental drivers of chronic inflammation. All of this has me looking at intermittent fasting as a solid precautionary long-term strategy, meaning pre-infection strategy to help stave off getting sick. Certainly in times like these, you want to be extremely careful before adding any intervention that could potentially, in the short term, increase your risk for pathogen infiltration. That's why you always want to be optimizing your immune function with things such as sleep, exercise, and a very nutrient-dense diet. All right, with that little overview, let's take a walk through my current strategy and see what it's all about. Disclaimer, this is always and continuously being tuned and tweaked. I do not believe it is an optimal strategy for everyone, and it is also accompanied by many other healthy lifestyle interventions. Yada, yada, yada. Here it is, my strategy. For this conversation, we're gonna focus on 3 main pillars: sleep, working out, and daily fasting. Like I said before, there's a whole lot more. I actually go into it in depth in a bunch of other videos. You can check it out on the page, but for this conversation, those 3, or we'll be here all day. First, consistent sleep every single night. Going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, 8-hour sleep opportunity throughout the night. Not from early morning into mid-afternoon, throughout the night. When the sun goes down, when the sun comes up, right? That's where our innate circadian rhythms are aligned to get the best quality, refreshing, restorative sleep. This right here is to optimize the aforementioned critical benefits that sleep has on the immune system. See the How to Sleep playlist, link below if you need more convincing. The foundation of all things health. That is it, right? That's it. Sleep. Go to sleep. What time is it? Past 11? Go to bed! Next, fasted exercise in the morning. This does a few things which I cover in a bunch of other videos. First, it is a non-fasting way to activate autophagy. Remember autophagy? Autophagy is good. It also stimulates lymph flow, which is the fluid that runs throughout the lymphatic system, which is a series of nodes and organs that detoxifies our body, and happens to be the expressway for the immune system to get around. Private tunnels. This exercise in the morning also most likely depletes my glycogen stores, which is glucose stored in muscle. In many cases, these stores need to be depleted before we can turn on autophagy via nutrient deprivation or fasting. This also sets me up for my 1 meal a day or grazing window. I replenish and nourish my body each and every day with one big plant-based nutrient-dense meal, which I eat/graze from anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. By definition, I've been following somewhere between a 22-2 and 20-4 time-restricted feeding protocol each and every day. Now remember, I'm constantly experimenting, I'm constantly tweaking and changing things up, so this most likely will change eventually to test out another protocol. This window in which I eat is also early, something I've been doing for a bunch of years. The particular window now is between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., and I do it mainly to optimize digestion and prioritize sleep, which we talk about in this meal timing video right here. Also linked below. This also immediately refills my depleted glycogen stores, minimizing blood sugar spikes, and interestingly enough, what I found that by following this protocol, by the evening and definitely the next morning, I am in a low dose state of ketosis, which means I've switched over to breaking down fat stores to create ketone bodies for energy, and thus may be turning on things such as autophagy from fasting sooner than normally expected. Please note, my analysis is highly speculative, it's subjective, and anecdotal in nature. I simply do not have the tools to test and validate this hypothesis. Remember, we are all in different points in our health and longevity journey. This is just me sharing my experience. In no way is it recommended or optimal for anyone, so always consult your doctor. Disclaimer, got it. Side note, I also throw in a once a week 46-hour-ish fast, which you can see here. Once a week, every single Monday, approximately 2 p.m. Sunday afternoon to 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning. This again is to tap into a lot of the benefits we discussed earlier. And remember what we also discussed, a once a week extended fast does potentially open up the window of risk. You know you best. Make good choices for yourself. Please. Promise? Okay, good. I heard you promise. You promised. No turning back now. And I saw your fingers. No fingers crossed. In this case, even without the one fast day a week, I am taking advantage of many immune boosting strategies, all within a 24-hour feeding window, which in my eyes is pretty darn cool if you're a fasting and longevity geek like me. I mix this strategy with a clean, non-toxic environment, daily outdoor time, good, nourishing, nutrient-dense foods, mindfulness, and breathing practices to round out my daily immune nurturing protocol. Because as you guys know, health is a multi-pronged strategy. You remember that, right? One of which that requires continuous education and tweaking. It's not a game of absolutes and certainty, but a constant balance of putting yourself in the best possible position day in and day out. That's all you can do. As always, let me know what comments, questions, any random thoughts you have down below. If my clock is right, I've been sitting too long. I better go deplete some of those good old glycogen stores. Catch you next week.